Hello everyone, I'm going to show you a problem that I have with this turntable. It's the Technics SL-Q33. So normally what should happen if you plugged it in and you turn it on, it should do nothing. I already removed the hatcher here, but that doesn't matter too much. Actually, I'm going to reconnect it here. Hang on a sec. Don't have my hands free while I'm filming. So, what should happen is that nothing really should happen. But now it's spinning without me asking for it. Normally you press start stop and it would lift the tone arm and then drop it to the vinyl. Then start the platter, lift the tone arm, drop it to the vinyl. When it reaches the end, it would come back to home position. I checked the insides and the mechanic inside here. It works. The motor isn't getting power, the one moving the tone arm, but obviously this spins, which is a mistake. So I'm thinking that I will check the optocoupler that sees the tone arm position here. I'm gonna make several cuts of this video because it might take ages for me to repair it, but anyway, I'm going to show you how it's done. So this is doing nothing. You can change the speed. Obviously you can just put the tone arm there, but that's not the point of the machine. Queuing doesn't work, so queuing would normally lift the tone arm and drop it again. But yeah. So I already started to disassemble it, but let me put you through a few bits of it. Maybe like this, yeah. So this is how it looks like from the top. Obviously nothing to measure here instead of the fuses, which doesn't make sense in this case. But the real action is from underneath. Always remove the plug first. As I said, did some preparations before, but I wanted to show you the problem of the turntable before I try to fix it. By the way, this turntable is from my wine cellar, my wine shop. So it's really important to fix it. Otherwise, I might not get any more wine. So yeah, I already put some tape on the vital bits here. And yeah. So this is the motor that moves the tone arm back and forth. Played around with this a little bit, and the whole mechanic seems to work. I think the main problem are those optocouplers here, which see the tone arm position. So when I move the tone arm, they get dimmed or not dimmed. And if they show wrong information, we'll probably do something like that. That's why I'm gonna check them. They are getting a 5-volt supply. By the way, how do I know that? because I found the drawings on the internet, which is really useful. Think I wouldn't be able to do anything without the drawings. So this is where the optocouplers are. See, there are 3 of them. Even says here what type it is. So that's really great. I'm going to check the 5 volts here, the big line, the outputs of each one of them, going through the connectors, and maybe see if I can see the light that they are emitting. As you see, the LEDs or the diodes are all in series with the resistor in front. There, going to the 12 volt line. So yeah, gonna play with that. See you later. So I powered it up with the platter obviously not in place, so the turntable won't spin. If I turn it on here, I should get the supply voltage for the optocouplers on that port here. So there's 10 pins, and it says that between 7 and ground here should be 5 volts, because this is the power supply for the optocouplers on the output stages, and there's 0.5. So I'm going to check the power supply for the 5 volts here. Might be a regulator. See you later. So after a while I found out that this 7805 is broken. They're actually input, ground and output of the regulator connected by wires to here, so I can comfortably measure incoming 12 volt, outgoing 5 volt. The only other test I did is with the disconnected plug, that I measured the resistance on the output line, which is here J1 test point 6, and I found no short circuit, so it's 1.245 kilo ohms with a turned on power switch. So that's okay. So next thing I will have to do is change the regulator, and maybe I will also swap some capacitors. So I see 2, that is the bad boy, incoming 12, going out 5 volts. I actually measured 0.56 going out, 12 volt coming in. So yeah, I will have a look what capacitors I will swap and let you know later. Maybe this one here, C5. I'll have to figure out what this means here. Maybe here, C6. It's on the output of the 5 volt regulator, apparently. I'll see, let you know. So I was lucky, I found a new one in my attic. It's a 7805. I removed the old one with the desoldering pump. So you guys know how this works. I removed the old thermal paste because I'm gonna apply a new one onto the connection between the regulator and the board here, and between this platter and there where it's been mounted. So I removed the old one, old stuff everywhere. And just gonna apply new stuff to the regulator before I solder it in. See you guys later. So I've put it back together, turn it on, and it doesn't spin. So I can check the weight here, tone arm weight, put on the new a vinyl. If I press start and stop, starts lifting the tone arm, and then it drops again before it gets all the way up. So there's one more thing I have to solve. If I press queuing, does lift the tone arm high enough. If I press it again, obviously drops it. So if I move the tone arm to the platter, it starts. If I go too far, it even lifts the tone arm so that we don't hear any awful sounds. Now this doesn't work. I want to check that. So there might still be a mechanical problem. Okay. So welcome back. I heated the turntable to room temperature because there were -2 degrees Celsius in my workshop. I tried again and was better, but I could see that from underneath it's hard to explain that there was not enough tension on this rubber belt. So my wife Sabina had a replacement belt and I swapped it over. So now if I turn it on, it doesn't spin. LED is on, choose the speed, press start stop, it would spin, lift the tone arm, and then move it over, drop it to the record. That's it. It's all the magic. If I press stop, it would lift the tone arm, turn off the platter, move the tone arm to home position. That's pretty much most it should be doing. I'll also check if the end position sensor would say, okay, I'm at the end of the record. I have to go home. And if everything else works, queuing works, as you can see. So that's fine. So yeah, I think it's done. Hope this helps. Bye-bye. So this is testing the end position sensor. Also works.